Let me tell you guys about Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly Up Sports is the premier, not your average website. Jose Mourinho. If you guys do not know, Jose Mourinho was sacked by Fenerbahce earlier this season. It was actually around the same time as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Erik ten Hag getting sacked by their respective clubs, it was just like a little fun thing about Manchester United. Let's laugh more at Manchester United, even though they did have a good win against Chelsea. But yeah, Jose Mourinho was let go by Fenerbahce. I will honestly tell you, it's just gonna be weird if we never see Jose Mourinho manage. I think that he's not the guy that's gonna take, he's not gonna be like Jurgen Klopp, who takes a break, a sabbatical from managing. I think he just needs to be in that environment. That's what he lives for. National team wise, I don't ever see him doing that because I think he needs it to be every single day. I think he just lives for that kind of. Now, it's a fair thing to argue that has the game passed him by. I think it's totally fair. I think the reason why I say it's totally fair is because he hasn't really been like that guy as a manager as of lately to me. He hasn't really won anything significant in quite some time. Yes, the Europa Conference League with Roma. That was probably the recent one, making him the only manager to have won all three of those trophies, descending wise, but still has won all three. I think, but obviously Roma. It looked like it was going to be a good relationship with him and Roma. Obviously, his familiarity with the Serie A, but it just didn't pan out, and that's when he got the opportunity to go to Fenerbahce, which I'm not trying to say Turkish league is like a terrible league by any means. Fenerbahce is a really good club. It developed, a lot of big names come from that club. A lot of big names have played in that club. Obviously they have to go up against Galatasaray, who is also a very dominant force in the Turkish league, as well as Benfica, and Trabzonspor was in the conversation not that long ago, won the league title not that long ago. But I mean, it's always been Fenerbahce and Benfica and Galatasaray in the conversation for the Turkish Super League, and it's just, I think with a club like Fenerbahce, who probably want to be back on top of Turkey, I feel like they just weren't getting the results they wanted from Jose Mourinho. I think Jose Mourinho was being super outspoken, as he usually is. I think if you're gonna have Jose Mourinho, you have to understand that how he's gonna be. This isn't new at this point. Jose Mourinho is arrogant. He is cocky. He believes he is the best thing since sliced bread. And honestly, I'm kind of do appreciate his confidence in himself, but I can also get where it could be annoying as hell at times. But so he gets sacked by Fenerbahce. I can't really tell you where they are in the table right now. It was also very early in the season, but obviously once again, Fenerbahce, I believe, just doesn't feel like they're getting the results. And I don't think Jose Mourinho necessarily liked his move to Fenerbahce. I don't think he really cared too much about the Turkish league. And I think that is why, also a combination of those two things led to him being sacked by Fenerbahce, and now he's back in the market. And I think because of what happened with Fenerbahce, I think what happened was Jose Mourinho really wanted a job, and he wanted to start working right away. And when the opportunity that Fenerbahce presented itself, once again, I think a club that has historical significance in Turkey, did draw his attention. I think that he maybe wanted to see what he can do in a league like the Turkish Super League. And when he got there, I can't tell you what he felt. I don't know what he thought. Maybe he felt the league was a little bit beneath him. I can't tell you. But it didn't work out. It just wasn't a good it wasn't a great partnership. It just didn't work out, and that's why he left after basically one season. Um, and I think now he wants to make sure he picks the right job for him that makes the most sense for him, not just besides him just wanting to feed his itch for coaching. Like he wants to make sure that one, this is going to be a good place for him to manage, and two, like it just has to make sense for him. The move has to make the most sense for him. And I think one or two just happen to be. I think it's the same fucking thing. Sorry for cussing, Kelsey, but yeah, and that club ends up becoming Benfica. Jose Mourinho signs a 2-year deal with Benfica, a league that, well, obviously he's from Portugal. Jose Mourinho is Portuguese. He obviously managed in the Portuguese league. He had FC Porto, where he did win a Champions League title with Porto. So he has a lot of familiarity with this league. Obviously, the league has changed dramatically since he left. And I mean, that FC Porto team was very much a very loaded team. If you guys want to, I'm just going to say this. You should probably Google that Champions League team, by the way. Stacked team of guys that went on to do great things in other clubs. But he signs a 2-year deal with Benfica. And fun fact, this was actually Jose Mourinho's first job. He managed Benfica. That was his first job as a manager, which he did in fact resign after 10 days because he just didn't agree with some of the changes that the leadership was doing. He was given an opportunity to step down, and he took it. And the rest is rock and roll history in that matter. So I think Benfica is another club very similar to Porto, who is really good at finding players. They're really good at being that good stepping stone team to these guys to take the next step. Just don't look at João Felix. But when I think that this is a good place to go for Jose Mourinho, kind of, in some sense, like kind of how Edward said about Manchester United. Go back to the basics. Go back to, sometimes you just got to go back. And I think that that's what he's doing right here. I think trying to figure out his next step, his next calling. And I think Benfica is a good combination. I think it's a good club, has great resources compared to other teams in the Portuguese league. He is going to have a lot of talent there. And I think, once again, they have more resources. They have better resources than other teams in Portugal, so they'll be able to go after players that would be fit to the liking of Jose Mourinho. It's not an easy league, though. You do have FC Porto, who is still very much a force, and Sporting, who recently has come back into that conversation in the Portuguese league. So this is not necessarily an easy task for Jose Mourinho. Benfica also a very good team, but still, I think there is still a challenge in play, and I think so. There is a challenging aspect to it. He's in his home country of Portugal. He's playing in a league that he's going to have some serious competition with. He can't be resting on his laurels. He's going to be challenging himself, and I think that this is kind of that combination of things that makes the most sense to him, and it'll work. Hopefully, it'll work out. Now, Jose Mourinho does in fact have a cycle. I don't believe the cycle happened at Porto by any means, because I think, if you guys don't know the cycle, he goes to a club, he gets the result, and then people just get very much tired of him after he brings in questionable after questionable players. As I can speak for it, as someone that was one of his teams that he managed was Real Madrid. A lot of questionable signings, a lot of guys that didn't understand. But he was a special one. He knows what he's doing. He's the best. He's the best manager in the world. And it got tiring, especially when you still kept falling short against Barcelona. And did he win a league title? I think he won a league title. Obviously, never won Champions League. I think he won a Copa del Rey, but never won a Champions League at Real Madrid. Sorry for yawning. But I think it's an interesting compare. I think it's not matchup comparison. I think it's an interesting match made it's like an interesting matching. A match. This partnership could work. Once again, I think it does check the boxes for Jose Mourinho. And I think on top of it, the icing on the cake for me is that Jose Mourinho gets to be back home. And I think sometimes that helps a lot tremendously for people. It's just going back home. As of right now, they do have Benfica does have a match on Tuesday, which obviously by the time this podcast drops, it'll already been played. So they are still in second place. I believe even with a win, they'll still be in second place. So as of right now, they are in second place behind FC Porto. Once again, it's still early in the season, and obviously, come Benfica versus Porto, that's going to be a really important matchup, a real 6-point opportunity. But obviously, Benfica needs to do their job and to handle their business, and same thing for Porto. So I think that this is going to be it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Portugal. If you guys didn't have a reason to watch the Portuguese league, I think maybe some people do now, and could be intrigued as to what's going to happen at Jose Mourinho. Can he make Benfica? Can Benfica thrive with Jose Mourinho, and does Jose Mourinho's tactics? Does he challenge himself to now evolve with this current game? We'll see what happens, man, and I can't wait. I will be watching the Portuguese. I have watched the Portuguese league. Mainly, I watch it for Benfica versus Benfica, Porto, and Sporting. Or if there's a player that I want that might be going that's linked to Real Madrid, I'll go look at him. Or at Arsenal, like Victor Gyökeres, I was watching some sporting matches to see what this kid was all about, and or well, not kid, young man, a man, what this dude was all about. So it's a good league, man. I honestly say I enjoy watching it thoroughly. You should probably give it a try, see if you guys like it over there as well. But that is Jose Mourinho. He's coming back home, and we'll see what happens there, man. Who is that guy?